Good morning, everyone. I am Teacher Jarrett. Jarrett. And this week we are going to start a new chapter. So our weekly concept is insects. Okay, so before we talked about animals, right? Birds and bears. But this week we are going to talk about insects. So the essential question this week is, what insects do you know about? How are they alike and different? So here we can see, the next page. The title today is Bug Me. And bug is another name for an insect. So you can say bug me, which means give me a bug, or bug me also means to bother me. So they're having a play on words. It has one way to say it, but two meanings. But today, the meaning is, let's talk about bugs, okay? So, talk about it. What is special about the caterpillar? How is it like other bugs? So we can see, here's the caterpillar. It's got eyes there, and it has its feet here, right? And so it's like other bugs because it eats plants and it crawls on the ground, right? So those are some ways that it is like other bugs. Something that is special about it is that it turns into a butterfly after it goes into a cocoon, right? So caterpillars are very special because they transform. They transform from a caterpillar, which just crawls on the ground, into a butterfly, and the butterfly can fly in the air, right? So now we are going to learn some new words, okay? So let's make our word section, our word block, and let's start with our first word for today. Our first word is caught, C-A-U-G-H-T. A bug is caught in this web. So, caught means to get stuck or be grabbed by someone or something. Okay? So the web grabbed this bug, and now the bug is stuck, right? So let's talk about, let's talk about a sentence that we can make. We can say that to get stuck or to get grabbed by someone or something. We can say the fisherman caught a fish using a hook and a worm, right? So the fisherman caught a fish using a hook and a worm. So that means he took his pole and it had a hook on it, right? And he took the worm and put it on the hook and put it in the water, and a fish grabbed it and he pulled the fish out. So that's called, we can say that he caught a fish. And so caught is a past tense verb. Okay? All right. So now let's go to the next word. The next word is flew. Flew is spelled F-L-E-W. The wasp flew over to the flower. So flew means flew is the past tense word for fly. Fly means to travel in the air using wings. So usually when you fly, you have wings, right? An airplane has wings, birds have wings, insects have wings, okay? So not always in the air using, we can just say travel in the air. Okay, so I don't know if there's anyone who can fly without wings, but some rocket ships, right? A rocket ship is just a very tall cone, tall cylinder, right? Just a big circle all the way up. And that can fly because it has very powerful thrusters. It goes psh, and then it launches up into space. So we'll just say fly means to travel in the air. Okay. And flew is the past tense word for fly. So now let's make our own sentence. I flew from New York to Shanghai on an airplane. Okay, so you can say I flew from New York to Shanghai on an airplane. All right, so you flew. It's in the past, and you traveled in the air. Okay, let's go to our next word. Our next word is know. K-N-O-W. I know how to catch a bug. So know means to have the ability to do something or have the knowledge to do something. Okay? So know means to have the ability to do something or have the knowledge to do something. Okay? So we can say, I know how to do math, right? So that means you know how to do math in your head. Or you can say, I know how to hit a baseball, right? So that means you have the ability to hit a baseball, okay? Okay. Actually, let me change this. It means to. Let's take out ability. We'll say know means to have the knowledge to do something. So if you know how to do math, it means you understand what you need to do math. And if you say you know how to hit a baseball, it means that you have the knowledge of how to hold the bat and how to stand and how to swing, okay? So there is a difference between knowing and being able to do it. So knowing just means having the knowledge. Okay, let's go to the next word. The next word is laugh. Okay. Laugh is spelled L-A-U-G-H. That bug story made us laugh. You can see they're laughing. So laugh means to show that you think something is funny. Okay. It's an action. Show. So you can say, I laughed at my friend's joke. Okay? So a laugh is when you go, ha 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 ha. Okay? That's a laugh. And so you laugh when you think something is funny. So you can say, I laughed at my friend's joke. That means that your friend told a joke that you thought was funny, and so you laughed at it. Okay? Okay. Now let's make another word box on this side and do our last word on this page. Okay, our last word on this page is listen. Listen is spelled L-I-S-T-E-N. Listen. Listen to the buzzing bees. Buzz, right? So listen means to use your ears. Use means to pay attention and hear something. Okay? So listen means to pay attention and hear something. Okay. So an example could be, my teacher told me to listen to her lesson, right? So your teacher maybe will say, listen to me, right? So what she's saying is you should pay attention and look at her and hear what she has to say, okay? So my teacher told me to listen to her lesson. So she's teaching, she wants me to listen and hear what she has to say, okay? All right, now let's go to the next page. So the next page, let me erase this. The next page has more words on it. So this word is were. Were is spelled W-E-R-E. So were is the past tense word for are. Okay, so are means to be. So fireflies were out last night. So that means the fireflies came out and flew around. Okay, so we can say an example would be that my friends and I were in kindergarten last year. This year we are in first grade, right? So were is something that happened in the past, and then are is the present tense, right? So you can see in this example, there's the were that we used for last year, and are that we're using for present tense right now. Okay? Good. Now let's go to our next word. Our next word is beautiful. So beautiful is spelled B-E-A-U-T-I-F-U-L. The butterfly has beautiful wings. So the wings are so pretty and nice to look at. And so beautiful means something is pretty and nice to look at. So an example can be, my mother is so beautiful, right? Okay. Or you can say, I watched a beautiful sunset yesterday, right? So your mother, my mother, or your mother is so beautiful, right? Or if the sun set, when the sun goes down, there are sometimes many colors. orange and red and yellow. And so that is beautiful because it's so pretty to look at, right? Yeah. So we can say a beautiful sunset. Now let's look at our last word here. Fancy. Fancy. F-A-N-C-Y. Okay. Fancy means something is very nice. Very nice. We are wearing fancy hats. So these hats look so nice, right? Usually, if something is fancy, it's expensive, okay? So we can use our example. We can say, I wear fancy clothes when I go to weddings. So if you go to a wedding where two people get married, you and your mother and your father will probably wear fancy clothes because you want to wear clothes that look nice, right? So fancy means something is very nice. So now it's your turn. Read the sentence for each word, then make up another sentence. And we already did that, all right? So now we are going to erase this and go to the next page. All right. So phonics fluency. We're going to learn about how the words sound. Long I. The letters I, Y, I-G-H, and I-E make the long I sound in find, fly, high, and cries. Okay? So I'll read all these words slowly, and then I'll read them fast. Okay? All right. By, mild, dry, right, untie, sky, kind, child, side, tries, relight, spied. Okay, so now I will read them faster so you can hear what it sounds like. By, mild, dry, right, untie, sky, kind, child, side, tries, relight, spied. Okay, so now let's go to the next page. Read together. Dwight spied a moth by the light. What kind is it? I asked myself. Okay, so I'll read this one more time. Dwight spied a moth by the light. What kind is it? I asked myself. There's a moth by the light. Now your turn. Look for these words with long I sounds in creep low, fly high. Fly, cried, by, high, right, high, I, find, I'm, side, sky. Okay, I'll read it faster now. Fly, cried, by, high, right, high, I, find, I'm, side, sky. Now pay attention because this word is high and this word is also high. But this high means high up in the air. And this high means hello. So you can say hi, hello. So it's the same sound, but it's a different spelling, okay? So when you spell, make sure you pay attention to how you are spelling the words. The sound is important, but the spelling is also important, okay? Okay. Now let's go to the next section. We are going to learn some harder words. They're not harder, they're just longer. Okay? So let's start with this word. This word is different. Okay? D-I-F-F-E-R-E-N-T. Different. D-I-F-F-E-R-E-N-T. So different means not the same. Okay, so if something is the same, it has, you can't tell the difference. You can't tell that they're two things. They look the same. But if it's different, that means they have some things or some characteristics that don't, one has some things or characteristics that the other doesn't have. Okay? So if we look at these two trees, we can see that these two trees are different, right? Because this tree has green leaves, this tree has no leaves. So maybe it's the same tree, but maybe it's different seasons, right? So we can say it's a different season. Let me type this so we don't get confused. The picture shows the same tree, but in different seasons. The season on the left is the summer. The season on the right is winter. Okay? So different means not the same. The picture shows the same tree, but in different seasons. The season on the left is summer. The season on the right is winter. Okay? So now let's make up our own sentence. I have an idea. You can say, my friend and I like to do different things. He likes to ride his bike and I like to run. But we still have fun playing together. Okay? So we can say, my friend and I like to do different things. He likes to ride his bike and I like to run. But we still have fun playing together. Okay? So the different things are riding his bike and running. Yeah? Okay? So they're not the same. But even if things are not the same, even if things are different, you can still have fun with the person or have fun doing the thing. Okay? Okay, now let's go to our next page. Okay, so this word is flutter. Flutter is spelled F-L-U-T-T-E-R. Flutter means to fly quickly. Fly and move. We'll say means to move quickly while flying. Okay? So flutter means to move quickly while flying. So we can see in this picture the butterflies like to flutter from flower to flower. The butterflies like to flutter from flower to flower. So another example we can say is In the fall, leaves flutter down from the trees into my hand. Okay, so we can also say flutter means that if a leaf falls, it kind of falls quickly through the air, right? So we can say the leaf flutters down from the trees into my hand. Okay, so butterflies can flutter, leaves can flutter as they fall down from the tree. Okay, because they don't just fall straight down. They sometimes fall like this and this and this and that, right? So it looks like they're fluttering as they fall. Okay, so let's go to our next word. Imitate. Imitate is spelled I-M-I-T-A-T-E. Imitate means to look or do the same thing as someone else. Okay, so if we look in this picture, we can see the two girls are imitating each other, right? And why are they imitating each other? It's because they are wearing scarves, right? So they're both wearing scarves, they're both wearing headbands, right? They're both wearing jeans. So the two girls like to imitate each other. So now let's think of another sentence. You can say, I like to imitate my brother when we go to school together. I always want to wear the same clothes as him. Okay, so you can say, I like to imitate my brother when we go to school together. And how do you imitate him? You can say, I always want to wear the same clothes as him. Okay, so that's how I imitate my brother. Okay, good. Now let's go to our next word. Our next word is protect. Protect is spelled P-R-O-T-E-C-T. Protect means to keep from harm and keep away from danger, right? So for example, we can say, this helmet will protect this little boy's head if he falls down when he's riding his bike, right? And remember last week we talked about the polar bear mother protecting her cub, right? And keeping her cub away from danger. Okay, so let's make a new sentence. We can say, your mother and father will protect you from danger when you are little. Right? Your mother and father will protect you from danger when you are little. So that means when you cross the street, your mother will hold your hand, right? Because she wants to protect you. She wants to make sure that you are safe. So your mother and father will protect you from danger when you are little. And even when you get older, your mother and father will still protect you. They will give you advice and they will help you stay safe. Okay, so make sure you listen to your mother and father, even when you get older. Okay? Okay, let's go to the next page. So the next word is resemble. R-E-S-E-M-B-L-E. Resemble means to look like something else. Okay. So in America, where I live, we play a game when we're children with our parents. And sometimes we play the game even when we're older. And we play a game to look at clouds and see what the clouds resemble. Okay? So if you look at these clouds, maybe you can see that the cloud resembles something else. Like here, this cloud almost looks like an alligator, right? With an open mouth. See? See that? It looks like an alligator head. So if you look at this, sometimes you can see other things too. Okay? So we can say this cloud resembles an alligator head with an open mouth. Now another way we can use resemble is for humans, for people. You can say many people tell you that you look like your father. Or many people tell you that you resemble your mother. So if people say that you resemble your father, it means that you look like your father. Maybe you have the same eyes, or the same hair, or the same nose, or the same smile, right? Or if people say that you resemble your mother, maybe you have the same ears, or maybe the same eyebrows, or eyes, or hair as your mother, okay? So it means you kind of look like your mother or your father. Okay, so now let's erase this and go to our next word. Oop, there's our alligator. Okay, our next word is beautiful. Okay, beautiful is spelled B-E-A-U-T-I-F-U-L. Beautiful means very pretty or nice to look at. Okay, so we can say this butterfly looks very beautiful, right? Yeah. So another sentence we can say is roses are very beautiful flowers, right? Roses are very beautiful flowers because they are just very nice to look at. If they're red or pink or white, we can also say, like we said before, remember, you should tell your mother this every day. You can say, my mother is very beautiful, right? My mother is very beautiful. That means your mother is very pretty. So after this lesson, make sure you go find your mother, or you call your mother and you say, Mommy, you are very beautiful. Okay? Okay. Now let's go to our last part. Okay. Our last word is fancy. So fancy is spelled F-A-N-C-Y. So fancy means to look nice. Okay. We can also say fancy means not plain. Okay. So if something is only one color and it's just a boring design, then it's not fancy. But if something is very beautiful and nice to look at, and it has many colors, or it has a very interesting design, then we can say it's fancy. So like we said before, I always wear my fancy clothes when I go to a wedding, right? Or we said before, these girls' hats are fancy, right? Or you can say, I like to look at fancy cars, right? Some cars look very nice and they don't look plain at all. They're red and they have a big engine, or they have a very cool picture on the side of them, right? So that's fancy. So it's nice to look at and it's not plain. It's very interesting. Okay? Well, that's all of our lesson for today. We learned a lot of new words. We learned about the long I sound, right? The long I. Lots of new words we're going to use this week in our lessons. And remember, you learned the word beautiful. So make sure you tell your mother, Mommy, you are so beautiful. I tell my mom every day, at least one time. But that's all that we have for today. So now it's time for me to say bye-bye. Okay? This week we're going to spend a lot of time learning about bugs. So I am very excited, and you should be too. It'll be a great week. But now I have to say, I will see you next time. Okay? Bye-bye.